I'm going to show you how to create text like this, like steel girders. This is not a automatic font. I had to create this by hand. I don't know if there's any tool to actually make this kind of thing. So, you know, I just made it. So, and I'll just show you what the text looks like from different angles. I decided to go into a lot of detail because I wasn't sure what angle I would want to show the text from. And I've given it a lot of surface detail as well. As you can see, I've put back plates on, and I've got individual rivets. So basically, I'll just do one of these sections so you can get the idea. First thing is create that sort of shape. What do you call that? A cuboid. I'll put the edge faces on so we can see how many length or width it's got. So I just create a number of sections like that. And I'm going to want to bend this, so I want to give it a couple of height sections as well. Okay, so just like that. And then I'll switch it to an edit poly. And I'll add a bend. And I'll just, first thing I do is I want to get it looking the right sort of position or shape, so that I can get my text. And then I will construct the text like this. You can use a text object to use as a guide. So you can make your text like that, and then you can adjust your object to match. So let's say if I wanted to match the E, I would just sort of do this. Let me just hide those other text objects because they're getting in the way. So yeah, you can just take your shape and then match it to whatever text you've got. So then once you've done that, you can go into your edit poly. It won't affect the bend because the bend will be applied afterwards. Actually, no, I've done this in the wrong order. First thing I want to do is reduce the width of that, and that's going to be the center of the I-beam. And I made it wide at first so that I could get it matching the lettering. You create all your lettering in the right shapes first, and then you make it thinner like this, because once you've done that, you can select in the edit poly, you can select that edge and that edge, and just make sure that you haven't selected the ends. So I hold Alt to deselect. Has that worked? Oh wait, I know what's happened. You have to do it up here because if I press that, this is what we're working on. There we go. So deselect the end like that. So now I've only got the bits at the sides. And then, of course, extrude that out. Like that. That'll do. And then, once I go back to the bend, you see it follows the shape that I originally chose. But of course, when you see it from different angles, you can see it takes the shape of the I-beam. Then what I want to do is add a slight chamfer to it. To make the edges look solid. So then it'll look like a solid shape rather than a fake 3D model. And then, of course, a mesh smooth to make everything nice and solid. Otherwise, the flat faces, for some reason, without mesh smooth, the flat faces on the front of the object will appear curved. An active shade for this. Oh, that's fantastic. And it just takes its time, that's all. Okay, so that's with the mesh smooth. It looks nice and flat. Then, without the mesh smooth, it's got a weird... It's lighter here, darker here. It's almost like the surface is curved. See better without the edge faces. It looks like a kind of a curved surface. And you put the mesh smooth on, and it's all flat. So then I would add the materials to it. And the material I'm going to apply to this one is the yellow. This is the yellow one. Oh right, yeah, that's one thing I've forgotten to do. I need to add a UVW map to it. Make that a box. And with the yellow material, you can't really see how bumpy it is. So I will choose the red material. You can't see the bumpiness on there either. It's probably just the angle. Anyway, I'll show you how the materials are created. Make this larger. It's a bit of a mess at the moment. So, I've got a physical material here. It's a metallic material. It's got metalness 0.5 and the color and all of that stuff. Anyway, you can fool around with this stuff however you like to make it look how you want, but you can just copy these settings to make it look like mine. The roughness is so that it's not too reflective. Because it's a painted surface on mine, paint is not that reflective. It's not like a mirror. Although some really smooth paint can be. I chose to make it not quite so smooth. The metalness, it just, I mean, the paint is not completely opaque, so that's why the metalness comes through. And then, so to the base color, I've put a map here which is a mix between red and dirt color. And for the dirt, I think that's this one. I've used this bitmap. Let's see if I can show the image. So this is the alpha for the dirt. So the dark bits will show in the dirt color, and the white bits of the map will show red. And then here I've added an additional, and this is the same sort of thing, but it's just a slight variation. You can see it's just a slightly darker red with a normal red, and that's to show variation in the color of the paint that would be underneath the dirt. So that's using this map here. So as you can see, it's just a bit of a grime, a grunge map. Right there. And then I've added a bump map here, which is just noise. Let's see if I can make that bigger. And preview. So you can see it's just noisy. The bumpiness is just noise. But the options for the noise, it's made so that the noise is kind of flat with slight edges on it, because the paint, it would go on in layers, and I don't know, I guess I was just judging it by how it looks. And you can sort of see it at an angle here. You can see it sort of got kind of ridges on it. I'll bring up that window again. So obviously you can play around with these settings as much as you like. I don't know if I can make that any bigger, because it's difficult to see on this screen, I think. So there, you just want to copy those settings, you can do. And so, there you go, you end up with this sort of surface. There, it looks a lot clearer on there anyway, when it's not rendered fully. And then of course you just do the same process for each of your letters, arrange them however you like. And then, of course, to show more realism, you add the rivets and the back plates. And there we go. Just a standard box with the chamfer and the mesh smooth. Just the same as with the other letters. And then, of course, the rivets are added to that. And the rivets are just spheres, and they're chopped off at a certain point. So you can just make the rivet whatever shape you want. You can make it quite a high rivet, or you can make it a very shallow rivet. Completely up to you. So then you just make up all your letters and you end up with something that looks like that. If you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments down below. And thanks for watching.